29 in total, which represents 20 years of Centro Stile, the Lamborghini design department in Sant'Agata Bolognese, and 9, the number of the few-off models, including the convertibles, along the way. It's their most powerful V12 engined car ever, 1,080 horsepower. The 6.5-litre naturally aspirated V12 combustion engine, 10 up to 835, 10 more than the Revuelto, on which this is of course based. The electric motors, though, producing an extra 55 horsepower, thanks to a lot of rework that's gone into it. It also has new manually adjustable racing shocks. We have CCMR plus brakes. It's going to be an exceptionally dynamic drive. A few more changes on the interior, but it's all about the design. That few-off philosophy of being able to go wild with it, create something that's very unique. And each of the cars will of course be done through the Ad Personam program to be completely different from one another. Ultimately, it is an absolute wow showpiece when it stands out here at Quail, one of the highlights to come and see. We can have a very quick glimpse inside the Lamborghini Fenomeno. You can see a few changes in the center stack, that alien feeling above the screen as per the Vuelto before, but of course a lot of bespoke elements and design features, including the seats. New trim and carbon style for the bucket seat inside the new car. The lineup represented here also with Temerario on this side and a Revuelto over on the other side. Missing the Urus from the full family, but Lamborghini's portfolio growing, all hybridized. All of the models now offering hybrid powertrains. The 10,000 RPM in this car, which I experienced on track recently, is absolutely amazing. Gunther Works have a new project here. This is the F26, named after the fighter jet from which its design and styling is inspired. You'll notice the slant nose style design, that familiar Porsche motorsport trait seen on the 935, and in fact the exhaust system also inspired by that car. This weighs only 2,700 pounds, yet produces 1,000 horsepower and 750 foot-pounds. It has a 4-litre twin turbocharged flat 6 developed with Rothsport Racing. It's got extensive use of carbon fibre, carries that retro Porsche vibe, but of course with modern technologies, modern materials, and absolutely looks the part, every detail as you explore it. It would be rude not to come and take a better look at this. Just feast your eyes on the presentation of this engine bay. The carbon fibre, the materials, air-cooled twin-turbo flat 6, 1,000 horsepower in something as light as this. Exposed down there at the rear, this is really very, very nice. Then also, this is the very, very pretty GWX. So taking the turbo platform, making it stiffer, more focused, and featuring the 440 horsepower 4-litre NA flat 6. Again, everything about it, even down to these exposed carbon stripes with the pinstriping detail and this beautiful purple paint that goes along with the look of the car based on the 993 platform. Tucked away, we have the Alfa 33 Stradale, the 33 Stradale, 33 cars, obviously platform sharing with the sister company Maserati, the MC20. You might have seen Valtteri Bottas actually very recently took delivery of his over in Monaco, but this might be one of the earliest debuts of the very, very good looking Alfa Romeo, link back to their history and the most valuable classic, in fact, from all time, wearing the Alfa Romeo badge, the 33 Stradale. There's a little squadron of Lamborghinis here, highlighted by the Sesto Elemento, one of the earlier few-off series hypercars. They basically all virtually vanished off the face of the planet back 15 years ago or so, although more recently, a number of them have been appearing. It was originally track only, but this has had the Lanzante treatment and been made road legal. Of the original 20, it's believed only 9 were ever actually made, but that's here along with the likes of the Aventador SV, one of 600, the Gallardo Superleggera, Porsche Carrera GT, and plenty more Lamborghinis, the line of Countachs that you can see around here as well. There are a few unusual superstars here, the likes of the Vector W8 Twin Turbo, and if we come over this way, that Koenigsegg is particularly unusual. This was the original Koenigsegg CC prototype. This was the very first Koenigsegg car that they made that has been brought over here from the Middle East to be displayed here at Quail, and it looks awesome. And Mr. Christian von Koenigsegg has shown up to have a little conversation about his first car as well, to talk all about it. There's a Spiker C8 SLS Black Series, one of my favourites, the Aston Martin 177, one of only 77, which had the most powerful naturally aspirated V12 in the world at the time it was introduced, back around 2010. We've got a Super Trofeo Stradale, one of 150 that Lamborghini made of those, the Starato, the McLaren Elva, and in fact the livery on this of 149 McLaren Elva matches the recent project by Lanzante of the McLaren P1 Spider. Now, to make a convertible P1, which is something that McLaren had mooted a little bit back at the time but never actually did themselves, takes more than you might think. It's not just chopping off the roof, no, it's re-engineering where the door is normally hinged from up on the roof section, also the entire rear, which is normally hidden underneath the glass. So a lot more work going into that than initially meets the eye, but this being the first, I think, of the project to make the convertible McLaren P1. This is a particularly good looking Porsche Carrera GT, and it happens to be a one-of-one example, factory painted in original PTS signal yellow, which for these cars, you may know, they weren't all that commonly found in out-of-range colours as you would with a modern car now, making this even more spectacular. Goodness me, I think we have a new contender for the crown at this year's show. This is the Gordon Murray Automotive Special Vehicles S1 LM. Picture the scene 30 years ago, 1995, the GMA or Gordon Murray designed McLaren F1 took top step at the podium at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. 30 years later, this is his modern interpretation based on the T50. There are only 5 cars. Of course, this is the beginning of their new special vehicles program. Not only do you continue with the central seat, but also the V12, now up from 3.9 litres to 4.3, around 700 horsepower, designed clearly inspired by the F1 GTR road car, I should add as well. I think for petrol heads and automotive enthusiasts around the world, this is about as fantastic as it gets. I could not imagine anything more special than driving this. The first client who commissioned the project, determining that he wanted to build something you could drive to the track, have fun on the roads, go have some fun on the racetrack as well, go sit, chill with a non-alcoholic beer, enjoy looking at the car before driving it back on the nice twisty roads. And to me, this would just be the most amazing driving experience. I can't wait to find out more about it. Come around towards the back and take a look at this. There's so much to talk about. Look at the design elements, these horizontal lines that you see through the rear grille, and in these dedicated tail lamps that have been created for it, reminiscent of those on the F1. Look below, the evolution to the diffuser, but the exhaust tailpipe positioning. Come up, the rear wing, even the way the openings are here on the rear window, all of these details, but modernized. Even the body lines, look at the way it shapes around over the tyres, this very short rear overhang, the proportions, so reminiscent of the earlier cars. Come here as well, the knacker duct for cooling coming through to the increased output engine. Look at the cuts through here in the bodywork. It will have sliding windows, which means they don't have to go down into the doors, giving you better airflow through and also more space inside the cabin. These higher door mirrors, or I should say A-pillar mirrors mounted up there to snorkel over the top. Everything about it, I think, has been done to perfection. Coming to the other side of the stand, the second vehicle that's been introduced here as well from GMA's Special Vehicles division. This is the Le Mans GTR. So the idea of going back to the 90s, but imagining that style and ethos in a modern day car that you could run at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In fact, there will be 24 of them, 1 per hour of the famous 24-hour race. It's based again on the T50 platform, so we're talking the central seating position with 1 passenger on either side, and of course the Cosworth-derived, naturally aspirated V12. On a normal day, this would truly stand out. The design, those Le Mans styling cues, the big wing that you find at the rear, everything about it. But once it's sitting next to the S1 LM, I tell you what, it's certainly overload today. I'm just looking forward to finding out more about this once it's further through the development process. This is a special